Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Today is the second part of explaining what the hell the tester is, because I don't know what it is either. That's a lie, I know what it is. I don't know why I said that. Right, okay. So this is the second part. Obviously the first part was me explaining what the tester is and everything. So this time, I'll be spending like 2 or 3 hours of my life explaining each individual role. There's like 78 roles, so I'm really looking forward to this. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. Maybe like an hour and a half, I guess. I hope. So yes, I've got people assisting me. I've got Devil Yoshi 98.
Yeah.
And Club Master, aka Ice Pop.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess let's just go straight into the roles. I'll be explaining them, obviously, one by one. So I'll be doing the oldest roles first, and then the newer roles later on. I'll also probably like timestamp them. I don't know if I'll either do it on like the pinned comment or like the description, but I'm sure you'll find it somewhere. So the first role, probably the easiest role to explain out of all of these, is Innocent. Innocent is basically just a player with no role. So if you get tested, you just flick the Innocent lever. I might as well just go to the room just to show an example. I mean, it's probably pretty obvious, but basically whoever the detective is, you know, if they put me in, I'll be like, God damn it, you're putting me in. What a waste. And then I flick the Innocent lever. And then I can obviously go to the rooms and go to wherever I want. We literally never use Innocent, so I don't really think that this role means anything, but you know, I might as well explain it anyways. Okay, the next role is the detective role. So I did explain it a bit in my last video, so obviously the detective has to admit who they are from the start, and then they could teleport to the tester room if they want, or they could just walk in the map. So they could either tell someone to go in, or they can press the button, and then I'll be like, Ice! Get in that tester! And then whatever role he is, he'll flick. Obviously, he doesn't have a role because we're just explaining, but yeah. So I want to say detective is the only role that isn't in here. I might be wrong, but the detective is the only role that cannot be tested. The detective also like is affected in various ways depending on other roles, which I'll get to later on. But the detective's main goal is literally just to find who the killer is, find the traitor, find the culprit. I don't know, find the whatever evil roles there are. So the next role is the Traitor, which is just a killer role. So it's just like Murder and Murder Mystery. They literally just walk in the room and then they try and eliminate everyone as quick as they can, and they win if they're the last one standing. That's pretty much the Traitor role. Obviously, if you're tested, you are a kill on sight, like I said before. But the Traitor is literally just another name for murderer. Okay, so the next role is the Sheriff role. So, for example, let's say Devil's the detective and he suddenly dies due to unfortunate circumstances. Ice will be like, I'm the Sheriff, I can do things, I can replace him now, because basically the Sheriff is literally just a replacement detective. So as soon as detective dies, the Sheriff can then run the tester and do exactly what detective does. But the only thing with Sheriff is they aren't affected by other roles. So, like, if, for example, Detective had to be killed by Assassin, if the Detective's dead, then the Assassin cannot win. Even if they kill the Sheriff, it doesn't mean anything. So the Sheriff only runs the tester. They don't do anything else. So the next role is Assassin. So the Assassin works very similar to the Traitor, but the Assassin's goal is to kill the Detective first before they kill anyone else. So, let's say, you know, everyone knows that Devil's detective. Then Ice, the assassin, runs into the room.
I missed you.
There he is, and then he kills the detective aggressively. From that point on, Ice, the assassin, has to try and kill everyone else. So he's kind of like a traitor at that point, but obviously he's not working with the traitor team. The only thing with Assassin is if they are tested, I believe they're just innocent. So if they are tested and they haven't killed the detective yet, the detective is safe and the assassin is innocent. But obviously, if the assassin is tested and they've already killed the detective, then that doesn't mean anything. They're still evil, and I think if they kill the detective and then they are tested, I believe they are a kill on sight. I believe. I could be wrong. It doesn't happen often, but basically the assassin's goal is just to kill detective first, kill everyone else, and be the last one standing. Okay, so the next role is hacker. So the hacker's goal is to get tested. And okay, so let's say, for example, I'm the hacker, Devil's detective. He puts me in. No, Devil, don't put me in. I'll go, actually, that was a terrible choice. I'm the hacker. And then from that point on, I kill everyone. If the hacker is not tested, they are just a regular innocent. So their goal is to get tested. And then what they could do is they can go anywhere. They are obviously a kill on sight from that point, but I'll just show a quick example. I'm gonna jump down and suicide. Ah, okay. So obviously in that situation, I would have won because everyone else would be dead. But the hacker is basically on its own team if it's been tested. But obviously you can't kill if you haven't been tested. So try and make yourself seem suspicious.
And one other thing I forgot to mention with hacker is if they are tested, they break the tester, meaning that no one else can be tested unless the engineer does something, but I'll get to engineer later on. But in most cases, once the hacker is tested, that'll be the last test of the game.
Okay, so the next role is the Jester role. We never use this role. We've barely ever used it before. Basically, the Jester works differently to Murder Mystery. So obviously, Murder Mystery, you can't hit with a sword, and you have to try and get killed by an innocent. But in this case, you can use any weapons. You can try and get people to kill you. And you win if you are killed by anyone, whether it be an evil roll, a good roll, a neutral roll, anything. If you die, you win. The only two ways you can't win is either if you're the last kill, so if you're the last one alive, or if you are tested, then it breaks the curse and you're just innocent and you lose. So the next role is the jailer role. So after we've done a test, the jailer can either keep quiet, so the round will just go on as normal, or they can say, okay, I'm jailer, I want to put this person in. They'll usually put the person in who they think is evil, so let's say in this case, Ice is jailer and he wants to put Devil in. Devil will go there, Ice will flick the trap victim lever, and then Ice will interrogate Devil, maybe asking him where he was on a death, or what his role is, or why he should keep him alive. And then at the end, he can either choose to keep Devil alive by flicking the switch, or if he thinks Devil is too suspicious, he can press the button and he will die. But the thing with the jailer is no one can kill in jail time. People can kill in test time, but jail time is different. So the only person that can be killed is the jailer's victim. Another thing with jailer is if they do choose to kill their victim, they cannot jail anyone else after another test. But if they don't choose to kill them and they leave them alive, on the next test, they can jail someone else and interrogate them. But once they've killed someone in jail time, they are not allowed to do it again. Okay, so next is the stealer role. So the stealer is basically kind of like the opposite of doppelganger. A doppelganger can just take roles and duplicate it, so be it with that person. But, I mean, they've already done it. But basically, if Devil's the stealer and he throws Ice the book, Ice's role gets robbed from him, no matter what he was, and Devil becomes that role. So if Ice was traitor and Devil stole his role, that means that they switch. So Devil will become the traitor, and Ice will be innocent. So if Ice's role gets stolen, then he becomes innocent no matter what. He doesn't become a stealer, he doesn't keep his role, he is simply just an innocent. So the next role is the Accomplice. So the Accomplice works kind of similar to the stealer, but they're more like a doppelganger. So let's say the Accomplice hits Ice with a stick. Ice will give him his role. And I believe if the role is bad or neutral, so like a hacker, traitor, a kidnapper, anything like that, he will duplicate the role. So it doesn't get stolen, but they will become the role together. But if Ice is any good role... Oh god, why are you guys creeping up on me? If Ice is any good role, like a detective, sheriff... Well, you're not supposed to hit the detective with the stick. But if you're like sheriff or any innocent role... I cannot think of any innocent role for some reason. But he will become innocent. So he only gets one chance. So you can only hit one person. You're not allowed to infinitely hit people. If you hit the detective, then you will just be innocent because why would you hit the detective? But if one was the traitor and the accomplice hits them with a stick, they will both become the traitors. So the next role is the shapeshifter role. So it works similar to the accomplice. So let's say the shapeshifter throws Devil the slime ball. Nothing else will be passed. Devil will not throw his book. But later on, if Devil gets tested, whatever role Devil is tested as, Ice will become that role. So it's not immediate, and if Devil's not tested, then Ice will just stay innocent the rest of the round. But if Devil is tested, Ice will become whatever role. It can even be an innocent role, so it doesn't have to be just a bad role. If you throw a slime ball to someone, it only matters if they're tested, and you become the role with them, basically. So the next roles I'm going to explain together. So we've got the Godfather and Mafia. So in this example, let's say Devil's Godfather, and he attacks Ice. And then Ice fights back, and heroically kills Devil. At that point on, the Mafia then becomes the new killer. I forgot to say, the Godfather is like a regular traitor, but they have a partner that they don't know about. So if you have a Godfather, you have to have a Mafia as well. So if the Godfather dies, the Godfather will be like, oh yeah, so I was Godfather. And then the Mafia will know at that point, okay, so now I need to kill everyone. And obviously, as long as at least one of them are alive when everyone else is dead, then they win as a pair. However, they don't know who each other are. So there is definitely a chance that the Godfather will kill the Mafia. So you need to try and figure out a way of, like, knowing who each other are and trying to win. Obviously, if the Godfather is tested, they are an immediate kill on sight. But if the Mafia is tested, they are not a kill on sight until the Godfather is definitely dead. So the next role is the agent role. Ice will have to run into a room, like, so no one can see them. So, like, let's say Ice and Devil ran into a room. The same room? Guys, you can't pass glasses if you're in the same room. So Ice will go into a room with Devil, pass glasses more secret than that, and let's pretend I did not see that happen. They'll both put glasses on at the same time, and then everyone will be like, hold on a second, one of these two are the agents, and people have to figure out who the agent is. If the agent is caught passing glasses by someone not wearing glasses, so let's say in this situation, I'm not wearing glasses and I see them being passed, and the agent immediately loses and they just become innocent. However, if I was wearing glasses and I saw the pass, it means nothing. They are safe, they are fine. And the agent can only pass the glasses to the detective last, because obviously, if they pass it to the detective like third or something, then there's a good chance that they'll get tested. And if the agent is tested, then they lose immediately, no matter how far they've gone into their glasses passing thing. But if everyone at some point in the game is wearing glasses, everyone who's still alive, then the agent wins and they can survive with whoever wins, whether it be the innocents or the killers. The agent will win with whatever team that is. Okay, so the next role is the lover role. So I'm going to be the killer in this example, so like the traitor. So let's say earlier on in the round, a Devil was like a lover or something, and he threw his book down to Ice. They are both connected together, so if one of them dies, then they both die. And I believe they have to be in the final three. Both of them have to be alive in the final three, no matter who's alive. So let's say I kill Devil sometime in the round, and Ice is like, don't do that, but it's too late, I've already killed him. Ice will perish, and that's two people dead. So they are working together. So it's possible that one of them is a killer and one of them is innocent as well. So the killer will obviously have to make sure they don't kill their lover, because they'll just lose automatically. But they do survive together if they are the final three, and it is a lover win. Even if it's just the traitor and the two lovers, only the lovers win, because the traitors have failed to kill the lovers. Okay, so the next role is the Snatcher role. So let's say Ice is Snatcher and he throws his book down to Devil. Just like Shapeshifter, it means nothing unless Devil is tested. So let's say I'm Detective, I put Devil in. Devil will flick the lever of his role that he was originally, so I don't know what he's going to choose as an example. Let's say Devil was the hacker. At that point on, Devil is actually innocent, and Ice has stolen his role, but no one knows that Ice has stolen his role. So obviously people are going to be hunting Devil thinking that he's the bad guy. He's being scary. So people are going to be hunting Devil thinking that, you know, he's probably the hacker, so we need to kill him. But in reality, Ice is the new one, and Devil has no role. He is completely innocent. But it doesn't have to be an evil role. It can just be a good role he could steal. So let's say Devil was the jailer, and he got tested. Ice would take the jailer role. So it could be that Devil goes in as jailer, flicks jailer, and then Ice is like, okay, I want to call it jail time. And then people will be like, well, that's confusing. But that's pretty much the Snatcher. So it's a lot like Shapeshifter, but they steal their role completely without everyone else knowing. So the next role is the medium role. So if the medium is tested, so let's say, for example, I don't know, I'll go in. Let's say I'm the medium, for example, wherever it is. I actually don't know. Here it is. So if I'm medium, whoever was first to die that was a good role comes back to life. So let's say, I don't know, Devil was a good role and he died ages ago. He was the first good role to die, so it doesn't count for any evil or neutral roles. Devil will come back to life and he could go after the person that killed him. I believe he can speak, but he can't say who killed him. From that point on, Devil can either kill the person or get killed, it doesn't matter. But the medium's power is only a one-time use, so the medium can't be tested again and bring back another person. If the medium's tested before anyone has died, then it means nothing. But the medium's powers can still be used at another test. So if someone wants to put in the medium for the second test and like someone has died, that person can be brought back as long as they're a good role. So the next role is the zombie. So the zombie starts off as any regular innocent, you know, they're all friendly and stuff like, oh, hello there. But then disaster strikes and I'm actually the evil guy. From that point on, I will change skins and my victim will also change skins. So in this case, Big Devil. And then at that point, people will go, okay, 2 people have changed skins. That's clearly not good news. And then from that point on, any zombies that have became a zombie can no longer speak, but it's basically infected at that point. So all zombies have to try and kill all innocents. So let's say in this case we slaughter Ice because we're really skilled. Ice will also join us on the zombie team, but any zombies who are killed as a zombie are permanently dead. The only thing is, if the original zombie tries to kill their first victim and they fail miserably, they do have a second chance, so they can come back in their zombie skin and try and kill everyone else. Obviously, at that point, everyone will know who the zombie is. So anyone that sees any creepy zombie skin or whatever, in this case, I'm like a serial killer. I am a kill on sight, but obviously I can try and kill everyone else as well. And anyone who does become a zombie, their original role gets cancelled out entirely. So let's say they were Traitor and they get killed and become a zombie. Their original role no longer exists, basically. And the zombie's job is to try and kill everyone else and win. And if all zombies are killed, then they are dead for good. So the next role is the Soul. So this works differently to the one in Murder Mystery. But basically, the Soul has to change skins to kill someone, and they can only do it once between each test. So if you do change skins, so in that example, because Ice changed into a skin, if Devil saw him, he would be an immediate kill on sight. But Ice as the Soul can only kill when he's in that different skin, and he can only kill once between each test. So you'll change skins, kill someone, change back, and then at that point, if someone knows who the Soul is, but they've already changed back and they are not caught changing skins, they cannot be killed. If the Soul is tested, they become a permanent killer, so they could just go around killing everyone in their own skin. And if there are no more tests, they also become a solo killer. So everyone will know who the Soul is, because obviously they'll change skins and then someone will die. I kind of forgot what I was saying, but basically the Soul can only kill once they change, and if there's either no more tests, or the detective is dead, or they've been tested, or whatever, then from that point on, the Soul could go around killing everyone. They don't have to be in a Soul skin anymore. They don't have to keep changing to kill people individually. They can just go around killing everyone, and they win if they are the last ones alive. Okay, so the next role is the Lawyer. So there's only 3 of us, so we're going to pretend that the detective exists. So let's say, you know, the detective is like, okay, I want to put Ice in, and then the lawyer will actually say,
No. Actually, no, I don't like that idea. Drawn goes instead.
"Oh my goodness, there's no shot. There's no shot. He got me. He actually found out that I was the traitor all along. That's crazy."
Wow, I'm a genius.
So the lawyer could only input in once that they want to change the detective's decision. But yeah, so the lawyer basically interferes with the detective's decision. So the lawyer is a good role, and you know the lawyer could either look really smart or stupid. They could either switch someone up and they be the traitor, or they could switch them up and they be the hacker, and then everyone hates them and then wants to kill them, but they can't. So yeah, basically the lawyer only has one go at finding out who the killer is. But obviously, I'd recommend as a lawyer not just to change the detective's choice just for the sake of it. I think you probably need like good reason to think it's someone else. So the next role is the reformer. So let's say Devil is detective, and he puts me in. I'll flick my reformer role as usual. I'm pretty sure reformer is this side. Yep, so reformer, I'm like, okay. And then everyone will know I'm reformer. And at that point, I have a whole library of roles to choose from. So I can either be a good role, or I could be an evil role, or, I could be a lover for some reason. Or if I was Jawa, I'd probably choose the fool role. But I'll get to that role later. So in this situation, I'll simply just choose the traitor, let's say. So from that point on, if there is another traitor alive, I'll be working with them. We just won't know who each other are. So it's kind of like Father Mafia, where you have to try and figure out, who your partner is. And you guys win if at least one person is alive. But yeah, the reformer can choose any role they want to be. There's a few exceptions, because some roles obviously work with others. So you'll be able to choose from most roles. But the reformer is a very fun and powerful role, and it is definitely very popular as well. Okay, so the next role, I'm actually going to combine two together. We've got the kidnapper and the hostage. So the kidnapper's job is to find the hostage and throw them the book. And if they successfully find the hostage, so in this case, Ice is kidnapper, Devil's hostage, the hostage will throw the book back, just so the kidnapper will know. Like, they'll throw their role, just so the person knows. So if Devil is the hostage in this situation, which in this example he is, the kidnapper, Ice, becomes a killer and tries to kill everyone else. And the Devil's more like a bystander. And their lives are connected, so if one of them dies, they both die. So it's kind of like a lover in a way. But if they are the last two standing, then they win as a team. However, Ice only gets one chance to find the hostage. And if he throws the book to any other role, Ice becomes innocent completely. So that person will throw their book back to him anyways, just so he knows. And from that point on, Ice is just, casually innocent. Okay, so the next role is the Cookie Monster. So the Cookie Monster is like a neutral / killer role. So let's say Ice is Cookie Monster and he eats a cookie because the Cookie Monster loves cookies. At that point, You're not supposed to see that in the example.
I don't know. I wanted to see it.
So let's say that Devil was not there and Ice successfully ate the cookie without being seen. He's done his mission for now. So the Cookie Monster job is to eat one cookie between each test. So before the first test, before the second test, and if it's a large group, before the third test as well. If Ice is tested as Cookie Monster before he's successfully eaten the amount of cookies he's supposed to, then he becomes innocent. And if he does successfully eat the cookies without being caught, so either 2 or 3 depending on the size of the lobby, he will become a regular killer at that point, and obviously, he'll be on his own team and he has to try and kill everyone else. But if he is caught at any point eating a cookie, he just loses and he becomes an innocent. Okay, so the next 2 roles are good guesser and bad guesser. So I'll be explaining these together. So let's say the detective's already done whatever they want, they test someone or whatever. At that point, just like the jailer, either the good guesser or bad guesser, whatever we have, they could say, okay, I'm this role, and I want to put this person in. So let's say I'm good guesser, and I want to guess Ice's role, for example. So I'll be like, Ice, follow me for a second, please. I would like to guess your role. And then, depending on roles we have in the game, it'll obviously be limited. So let's say Ice is the traitor, and I, say, Ice, are you this role? Ice will either nod his head if he is, and at that point, as soon as he nods his head, we can fight each other if he doesn't leave the room. And if I kill him successfully, if I kill him successfully, I can guess someone else's role. But if I die, then he will be revealed to everyone that he's some sort of bad role, but people can kill him if he wants.
I didn't do the best explanation of this role, but basically the good guesser will call someone into the tester, then they'll go to the evil role of the person that they think that person's role is connected to, and then the good guesser will say, okay, you this role, so let's say it's Godfather or whatever, and that person nods their head. They can the bad guy will nod, and then they'll have a fight. If the evil guy wins, they get away with it, but obviously they'll be suspicious to everyone. And if the good guesser wins, then obviously they can say, okay, guys, I just guessed that this person's Godfather and I was right and I won the fight. If they're wrong at all, then they just shake their heads, nothing happens, and the good guesser can no longer guess. So the good guesser can guess again for the next test, only if they're right and they get the kill.
And the evil guesser, the bad guesser role, works a little bit different. So let's say Ice is the evil bad guesser guy, and he puts me in, for example. Let's say Ice wants to guess my role. He only gets one shot with the bad guesser. That's the difference between the two. So if he guesses I'm sheriff and I am sheriff, I'll nod my head and then we fight. And if he kills me in this situation, then he becomes a killer himself, so he doesn't have to do any more guessing. He could just go around killing everyone else. No one will know exactly what happened. They'll just know that a role has been guessed and a role has been killed. But obviously, if I kill Ice in that situation, if he tries to guess my good role and I kill him, I'd be like, okay, guys, he guessed my role, but I got him. Then he's just dead. So he does only get one chance. So if he gets it wrong or if he dies, then he obviously becomes innocent or he's permanently dead, depending. But if he does successfully guess my role and kills me and then kills the rest of the game, then he wins. Okay, so the next role is the DJ. So let's say Ice is the killer in this game. Let's say he's the traitor. Devil will die. He'll say where he dies or whatever, and then he'll come back as a spectator, and he'll play. That's an interesting song choice. He'll play some music box and put a music disc in, and then if people hear the music, they'll go, "Oh my goodness, this is where he died," and then potentially it could lead to finding who the killer is. A lot of people don't like the DJ. I quite like it. What is this song?
It's a cook after.
A new one.
Get copyright.
New one.
It's not.
Oh, it's a new one.
It's a new one.
It's a very new one. It's really good.
Nice. Okay. Sounds quite chill. But yeah, basically the DJ can just be used to potentially locate the death and maybe help figure out who the killer is. Doesn't always do a whole lot, but it can definitely narrow it down. So that's the DJ role.
And we are finally a third of the way done.
Yay!
Test number 2. All right.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
this disc is the best disc now.